Hey everybody. How you doing today? What are we going to talk about today? Okay, here's what we're going to look at serious stuff. I don't know. Sorry. Oh my goodness. But some serious things today we're going to talk about. Um, premarital counseling. Premarital counseling, and you're like, okay, let me turn this video off. No, no, don't do that. Let's talk about it. Seriously, let's talk about it. A lot of couples like, we don't need premarital counseling. We get along great, right? We have no problems whatsoever. All right, but let's dive into why premarital counseling might be a good thing, even though you do get along great. Okay. You and your intended life partner are so in love, just so over the moon in love, right? You hardly ever disagree on anything. You you can count the number of fights and arguments, little tiffs that you've had on one little hand, right? Well, anything that does get under your skin a little bit right now, it'll all iron itself out after we get married, right? We're gonna feel differently about it once we've said I do, right? So by the way, I'm Sabrina Camacho. I'm a licensed wedding officiant, licensed in all 50 states. But I work out of San Antonio, or in the San Antonio area, I should say. Everywhere from the hill country to the beach. Um, yeah. So yeah, hang on. Let's talk about premarital counseling. All right. Um, I make these YouTube videos really to answer a lot of the questions that my couples come to me with, or things that just pop in my head. And this one happened to be I was at a venue open house, and there was a group there that I had never seen before, and they were offering premarital counseling services. Okay. So that made me kind of go, oh, okay. Well, let me deep dive into that. I did pick up some material from them, of course, and then went and did some research, and so here we are talking about all of that. So be sure and leave some comments below, comments about this video, maybe some ideas for future videos, things, topics that you'd like for me to do some research on and come on here and discuss, or get my opinion on. I got an opinion. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So premarital counseling is a time for couples to sit down together on and engage with each other on a little bit maybe deeper level than they normally would. Develop those strategies for healthy communication ongoing in their relationship, um, as well as making a kind of a, I don't know, preemptive strike. eh, Preemptive strike against issues that may come up in their marriage in the future. It's also going to help us define our core beliefs, help us set realistic expectations for our marriage, help us plan for the future, as well as just deciding then the ways that our lives are going to be merged. Now, granted, a lot of people are already living together um, when they enter into this marriage relationship, so they may have already ironed all those kind of things out. But there are people that don't, that have they're going to be joining their lives together after their marriage. Okay, so they have to discuss how that's going to happen. Now, I'm going to read some statistics here. All right, so when interviewing couples who underwent premarital counseling, 92% of them say that it helped their marriage get off to a strong start. Okay. 80% said it was still effective for them 4 years later. Okay, well now we're talking some numbers. Now marriage success was 30% higher for those couples as well. It appears that premarital counseling does provide some long-term benefits to couples. Now, here in Texas, there is a 72-hour cooling off period after we have applied for our marriage license before you can get married. Okay, that that may be waived if you have done premarital counseling. It's also waived within the last year. If you've done premarital counseling within the last year, then that 72-hour waiting period or cooling off period, whatever you want to call it, can be waived. Now, it's also waived for active duty military, a DOD employee, signed court orders, things like that. So it can be waived for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons being premarital counseling attention. It also, as an added bonus, uh, allows you to take $60, $60 off the cost of your marriage license if you can provide a certificate showing that you have undergone premarital counseling, again, within the last year. Okay. So there's basically six reasons that I've come up with that you can attend premarital counseling. Okay. First, obviously, it allows us to discuss those expectations that we may hold on to, which in some cases could be a little unrealistic. Maybe dating, of course, is so much different than settling into married life, right? We're always on our best behavior when we're dating, and then we become married and we're like, okay, we can let it all hang out now. And we're like completely, maybe a different person than we were when we were dating. And our partner suddenly is like, oh, what have I done here? I don't understand this at all. Or you both may be that way and just completely befuddled by this stranger that's in the house with you now. So, what kind of continued marriage relationship do we expect, right? What about parenting any children? Do we even want children? There you go. What about our careers, jobs? What might be some reasons that we would consider moving? Um, we need to keep all those answers and have those discussions before they come up, because it might be an urgent situation that all of a sudden you're okay. So having these as we're entering into our marriage with these realistic expectations can be very beneficial to our relationship ongoing. Secondly, we learn how to practice those healthy communications, actively listening to each other to fully understand what the other one is saying, um, about their inner experience, how they are feeling, all of that kind of thing. Learn to listen. And I'm guilty of this. I'm formulating my response while the other person is talking. Yeah, I've gotten over it. Okay. I have. I worked on it. Did take some work, but yeah, so don't do that. Work on it yourself if you experience that. That was a big thing. It was like, okay, so I'm gonna shut up now and I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna say next without even really. I'm like half listening to what you're saying. That's not a good thing. All right. So yeah, we want to make sure that we take the time to listen. State your wish clearly and calmly to your partner. Make eye contact. Make eye contact with your partner, and just tell them really how you're feeling and how whatever's happening makes you feel and that kind of thing. Say how you would feel if this need or this change was met by your partner. So state that too. All right. So number one, state your wish and do it calmly. Make eye contact. Number two, say how would you feel if this need was met or if this change was made? Okay, how would that? Now, each of you during this discussion repeat what you hear the other person saying. So, what I'm hearing from you is ABC and DEF. Is that right? Am I hearing that right? So, make sure that you're hearing each other. Okay. Now, we all know there's going to be conflicts at some point, obviously. Human beings cannot coexist without some disagreement. Can't live in those relationships without it. um, without a disagreement. So we need to, again, learn to listen and validate each other's feelings and see things as much as possible from their point of view when there is a disagreement. Okay. Also, we need to be able to say, I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I'm going to take accountability for my part in this conflict. And we're going to talk about what changes we need to make, what changes we need to initiate from this point going forward. I understand that, I messed up, or I don't see always your point of view, and I'm going to do the best I can to understand that from this point on. All right. Um, so that was number 3. Number four is allowing the freedom for autonomy in our relationship. We don't need to spend 24/7 together, even outside of work. We need to have some downtime. We need to have, again, inclusion and exclusion and self-identity and responsibility, religious beliefs, all of these things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So a trained counselor is going to help support the discussion of these issues that we might be experiencing as we're entering into this marriage. A couple might disagree or agree with certain statements, but the main goal is to listen to the needs are expressed for each choice. Okay. Statements like, well, it doesn't matter which one of us makes more money, it's all ours anyway. Maybe the other person doesn't feel like that, right? Or those who are paying for XYZ should have the final say in XYZ. Well, okay, that could be a problem too. So we need to talk about those various statements and how decisions will be come to when we face those things. All right, number 5, we need to explore the fact that emotional patterns are inherited, or they're handed down through families, just like family traits are. Yeah, our attitude, our reaction to conflict and things like that, those are all inherited from the people that came before us in our families. Okay. um, how many times do you open your mouth and hear your one of your parents coming out of there? Right. um, yeah, a famous example is a kid says, "Why?" And you say, "Because I said so." And then that was one of my things that I was like, "Wait a minute, where heard that before?" Because I said so. That's yeah, okay. Anyway, so again, these traits are handed down through our families. People can inherit a debilitating anxiety or a strange obsession, which can affect important relationships in the future as well. Your therapist may use a family diagram or a genogram, I think they're called, which reveals patterns of behavior through different generations. And it's going to, of our family, of course, and it's going to help us make those decisions of whether those patterns are something that we want to keep or work on to change. Okay. If you know, for instance, that what's something that something that rears its ugly head in many relationships um, is oh shoot, what is it called? It's hold on, let me pause this for just a second. Let me think about this for a minute. I'm trying to think of the word. I remember now. I remember the word narcissism. Narcissism. This I've been hearing so many people that are going through turmoil in their relationships because of narcissism um, rearing its ugly head. And that seems, I don't know why, but maybe it's just something that, you like you buy a red car and suddenly you see red cars everywhere. And maybe it's, I hear narcissism and then suddenly I'm reading about it everywhere. Um, so yeah, that could be something that's inherited, and it can be something that if you recognize and you're totally honest with yourself, because again, this is one of those narcissistic attitudes. Is like going, I'm not a narcissist. I just know what I want, and I refuse to budge, or whatever. Whatever it rears its ugly head several different ways, um, but yeah, that might be a trait that if you face the fact that, yeah, this might be an issue with me, then I'm willing to work on that and take some professional advice in that direction. Okay. Lastly, number 6. These are other challenging topics like money management, right? Sometimes we have this subconscious belief about how our life is going to be, how our finances are going to look ongoing through our lives, right? A lot of times these are created by our family and our friends, society, gender related, like, oh, I'm the whatever, I'm the Y chromosome or the X chromosome, and I'm supposed to be the breadwinner of the family, whatever attitude you might have about that. So gender related, also preconceived notions can also rear their ugly heads, right? But rarely are these things ever talked about, really. Talking about sexual expectations, desire, affection, that's also crucial. So we have a realistic expectation of their physical relationship in the long haul. Okay. Well, the cost. Let's talk about the cost of these premarital um, counseling services. Okay. Now, insurance does not typically cover the cost of couples therapy, but some actually do cover premarital therapy. So, yeah, might look into that with your insurance company, and make sure that it is going to cover the cost of that. But I did arrange some prices here, or look up some prices. I know one that's very heavily advertised on the internet is something called BetterHelp. It's an online therapy situation, and it starts at $65 a week. Again, it's online. BetterHelp. BetterHelp. I don't know I'm not going to give addresses, but you can look them up. Okay. A secular counselor is going to run you about $50 to $175 an hour. Okay, 50 to 175 an hour for a secular counselor. Mm-hmm. Church church affiliated sessions are sometimes are 25 to 125 an hour, but for church members it might be free. A lot of times they do actually require it. If the pastor is going to marry you in their church, they actually require it. Group seminars also that will be $100 to $300 per session. There is also this one. This is the one that I was privy to, or came across at one of the vendor things I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that I came across this. And this is sponsored by the First Baptist Church, San Antonio on McCullough. It has a 1-day Twogether, Twogether, that's a cute name, Twogether in Texas marriage preparation event. And they've got two, I think this is them. Yeah. Super Saturday they've got for newly engaged and newly married couples, engaged and newly married couples. Begin marriage strong with 1 day of marriage preparation that will set the pace for your entire marriage journey. There's an online assessment, and then they have topical discussions. Lunch is provided. And actually, in reading this, they actually have a breakfast thing too. But anyway, they've got 2 different ones scheduled for this year, 2025. There's one April 5th, like it was already passed by the time this video is coming out. Sorry. And then there's one October 11th, 2025. So it's a certified service provider for Twogether in Texas. And Twogether in Texas is actually that state-sponsored program that allows you to take $60 off of your marriage license if you've gone through one of these pre-approved sessions. Now, I do have also topics that they will be exploring in that Twogether program. That is, and I'm just going to go through them real quick. Marriage mindset, self-concept, maturity, independence, longevity, stability and similarity, caution flags, stress, cohabitation, expectations, baggage, social support, in-law relationships, cultural context, spiritual beliefs, finances, role expectations, personality, love, sex, attitude and happiness, communication, gender gap, conflict management, spiritual and intimacy, remarriage. Now, the last two, a lot of the couples that I talked to are in these situations: remarriages and blended families. Um, so yeah, some very helpful topics here. Some things that may not be, maybe up your alley, but some things, you can go back, play this video again, make some notes. If you are talking to a secular therapist, you can bring maybe some of these things up yourself if you feel like there are items that need to be discussed. I feel like all of those are very, um, well, just about all of them anyway, are very, well, actually all of them. Yeah. Where are we, in all ways, in all aspects of our lives, and what expectations and freedoms are we going to allow to each other? Okay. Well, I do truly hope that you found something of value in this talk today. I do have I'm going to put some resources down in the description box. And I don't normally, well, I do a little write up, but I'm going to put some actual resources down in the description box. Also, it would help me very, very much if you would just like this video, and please consider subscribing. I am trying to get my numbers up there. I have a lot of people that are coming in and watching my videos without subscribing. So it would be really nice if you would consider subscribing to my channel. Feel free to forward this video to anyone that you feel like, anybody that you know that's engaged, right, or thinking about getting married. Forward this to them, and give them at least some food for thought. Okay. So yeah, click that button, ring that bell, all that kind of stuff that they say here on YouTube. So until next time, my warmest wishes to you all, and bye. Love you guys. Mwah. I'm going to hold this up. This might be my, well, no, maybe not. What might be my thumbnail for this? I know. These people, that's a hilarious couple right there. I like that. All right. Bye, y'all.